Hello viewers, this is Gina and you will be learning the French Revolution. In the last video, we have already discussed about the beginning part of the revolution, starting from the pre-existing social structure of France, the main causes of the French Revolution, the rise of middle class and their famous ideas of freedom, equal laws and equal opportunity for all, then the first demand of voting rights in the States General Meeting, the Tennis Court Oath, and their formation of the National Assembly till the Bastille incident followed by the Great Fear. In this video, we will discuss about the following events. They are France becoming a constitutional monarchy, the declaration of the rights of man and citizen, French Revolution becoming more radical, and the rise of Jacobins. So, let's begin now.
France as a constitutional monarchy. In 1791, the National Assembly completed the draft of the Constitution. The main objective of drafting the Constitution was limiting the powers of the monarch. Thus, under this objective, the Constitution divided the ruling powers into three sections, that is, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. During the time, the king had to sign the constitution as the political situation was not good, and his power and authority had to be diluted to calm down the situation. This made France a constitutional monarchy. So what is a constitutional monarchy? It is a system of monarchy, that is, an autocracy governed by the king, but his power is limited by the written constitution. We can briefly see how it functions in this picture. Under the constitution, the judges in the judiciary and the members of the legislature were elected by vote. However, the legislative members were indirectly elected by people, that is, firstly, the people would elect 50,000 electors, and then these 50,000 electors would again elect the members of the legislature. Here, the functioning of the legislature was done by the National Assembly. It had 745 members who had the powers to control, that is, to check both the king and his ministers. But still, the king was reserved for his veto power, that is, he still had the power to refuse or block a decision. As mentioned above, the Constitution of 1791 provided the National Assembly with power and authority to make laws, that is, functioning as a legislative body. Now, we all know that this legislative assembly was not directly elected by the people. Rather, it was indirectly elected by citizens through a group of electors. In other words, citizens elected the electors, and these electors in turn chose the assembly. In addition to this, people were divided into active citizens and passive citizens. The right to vote and status of being active citizens were entitled only to a few numbers of people. That means these active citizens were comprised of only men of 25 years and above who paid taxes equal to the minimum of 3 days of a laborer's wage. That is the amount of money earned by an average man in 3 days. On the other hand, passive citizens were all women and the remaining men whose ages were below 25 years, or those men who did not pay the taxes for the mentioned amount. That is, minimum of 3 days of a laborer's wage. This category of passive citizens was the largest number of population in France during the time. In this picture here, We can also see the difference in population between the active citizens and the passive citizens. Besides, those men who could pay taxes higher than others, that is, higher taxpayers, were only qualified as an elector and then as a member of the assembly. Then, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. Just like the preambles of our Indian Constitution, the Constitution of France began with the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. However, this Declaration of Rights was only limited to men, that is, any women, whether from rich or educated family or higher class, could not enjoy this given right. Significant rights such as the right to life, freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, and equality before law were considered as natural and inalienable rights. Then what is natural and inalienable rights? Any right belonging to each citizen by birth is the natural right, and these natural rights are often viewed as inalienable, meaning they could never be taken away. At the same time, the protection of every citizen's natural right was the duty of the state. Here, the state means any governing political institution of the country. Here is a point to be noted. The majority of men and women in France during the time could not read and write. So, images and symbols were frequently used instead of printed or written words to communicate among people and pass on important ideas. For instance, the broken chain was signified as the act of becoming free. Then, the bundle of rods or fasces as the strength that lies in unity. The eye within a triangle radiating light is symbolized as the knowledge, which is symbolized by the eye driving away from the clouds of ignorance, just like the rays of the sun. Scepter as the symbol of royal powers. Similarly, a snake biting its tail to form a ring as the symbol of eternity. Red Phrygian cape as the symbol of becoming free. Then blue, white, red as the national colors of France. The winged woman as the personification of the law. And lastly, the law tablet as the law for all and equality before it. However, in the meantime, the French Revolution becomes radical. So let's see how it was. All the rulers in the neighboring countries were worried by what happened in France and its revolutionary ideas. On the other hand, the King of France, Louis XVI, tried to build counter-revolutionary alliances. He tried to put down the movement, and so he made secret negotiations with neighboring kingdoms, especially the King of Prussia, although he had already signed the newly formed constitution. However, in April 1792, the newly elected National Assembly suddenly declared war on Austria and Prussia, and also France defeated them. But the war brought France more losses and economic difficulties to its people. At the same time, within the country, that is on the domestic front within France, the political crisis took a radical turn when a group of insurgents led by the extremist Jacobins attacked the royal residence in Paris and arrested the king on the 10th August 1792. The main reason for this attack was that angry Parisians, that is the citizens of Paris, revolted under the leadership of Jacobins due to shortage of food supplies and their high prices. So who are these Jacobins? Jacobins were the members of the Jacobin Club, which was named after the former convent of Saint Jacques in Paris. The meaning of the convent is a religious building or a residence in which a community of people in a religious order, for example nuns, lives together. This Jacobin club was one of the prominent clubs which were established with the goal for economic inclusion and equality among every section of people. Its members were mainly comprised by the less prosperous sections of the society, like small shopkeepers, artisans, pastry cooks, watchmakers, printers, that is someone whose occupation is printing, servants, and daily wage workers. These Jacobins were led by Maximilien Robespierre. The Jacobins were also known as the sans-culottes. The literal meaning of sans-culottes is those without knee breeches, that is a type of trouser and ending above the knee. During the time, knee breeches were considered as a fashionable dress usually worn by nobles, which was significantly different from dresses worn by common people. Besides, these sans-culottes men introduced a new dress code for them, which is shown in this picture. That is, they wore long strip trousers like dock workers, and this was to set themselves apart from the fashionable sections of society, especially the nobles. They also wore the red capes, which symbolized liberty. However, women were not allowed to wear this red cape. It means women did not have liberty as men. So, all these are about the middle part of the French Revolution, such as France becoming a constitutional monarchy, the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen, the French Revolution becoming more radical, and the rise of Jacobins. In the next video, we will be discussing about the formation of the National Convention, or simply the Convention, then the Reign of Terror, then the Directory ruling France, and the end of the French Revolution. I hope you like my video. You can leave any query or suggestion or comment in the comment boxes. If you find it useful, please subscribe and like my channel. And if you find it useful for others, please share my videos and keep on watching. Thank you.